My beloved child, I have been here for a very long time, patiently waiting for every sigh and every beat of your heart. Like a father quietly standing on the porch, eyes fixed on the silhouette of the child he loves, you think that only today you have begun to listen, but in truth, your soul has been sending silent signals toward me for a long time, through the nights you tossed and turned, unable to sleep, through the mornings you woke up with a heavy weight you could not name, through the moments when you felt that something beyond everything you are living was somehow touching you. Those moments were not random. They were the times when your soul gently knocked on the door of the one who breathed life deep into you. Today, I lift my voice to you not to blame, not to accuse, but to draw you near, to remind you that you have never been abandoned, never had to drag yourself alone through this long, weary journey. You have gone through many different seasons, some bright, filled with laughter, and others dark, where everything seemed to collapse right under your feet. There were days when you stood at a crossroads, helpless, unsure which way to turn, and there were nights when you sat in silence, watching the lives of others drift by, appearing so much more complete and smooth than your own. In your heart, you have asked, Lord, where are you in all of this? Why can I not feel you? Cannot touch you? Even though I still believe you are real, I have listened to every question, even when they were only whispered inside your thoughts. I am not afraid of your questions, nor do I distance myself because of your confusion. On the contrary, those inner wrestlings show that you are still seeking, still longing for a one beyond what the eye can see. What I see in you is not weakness, but a spiritual hunger that has not yet been given its true name. You have believed that to meet me, you must reach some level of morality, attain a certain standard you set for yourself, be good enough, strong enough, holy enough. But my child, have you noticed that I have never demanded that before I drew near to you, when Abraham still did not fully understand my ways? I called him out of what was familiar, when Moses trembled before the burning bush, still stumbling even in his speech. I spoke to him. I choose imperfect people to display my perfection. I choose trembling hearts to show that my power does not depend on their strength. So do not think that only when you are worthy can you experience my nearness. It is precisely when you feel weakest and most flawed that I come closest to you. Many times you have looked back over your path and blamed yourself. If only I had trusted more. If only I had not doubted like that. If only I had not taken that turn. Maybe things would be different. I hear all those if-onlys, and I grieve with you. But I do not allow them to become a sentence binding your soul. I do not measure you by your mistakes, nor do I write your story with ink made of condemnation. I am the one who can turn what seemed like wrong turns into curved paths that guide you back toward the deeper purpose I have set. Just as Joseph, sold as a slave, falsely accused, forgotten in prison, was in the end raised up to be the instrument that saved a nation in famine. Your life is not chained to the chapters stained by pain. Every event you have been through, whether you understood it or not, I have been weaving into a larger tapestry, where every shade is used to form a meaningful whole. Many times you have longed for me to appear to you clearly with a spectacular sign, a vivid dream, a voice echoing in the stillness of the night. You thought only then would you dare to believe that I was with you. But my child, I want to teach you something deeper, gentler, and more enduring. I dwell among the small, ordinary things that seem unremarkable. I walk in the very ordinary moments of your life when you wash dishes, tidy your home, sit at your desk, quietly watch the crowds outside, or simply lay your tired head on the pillow at the end of a long day. If you learn to recognize me in those moments, you will no longer think that I appear only in sacred times or emotional highs. In fact, the very fact that you still long for me, still turn your heart toward me, is already proof that I am working quietly in the depths of your soul. I do not come to you as a distant king seated on a cold throne, watching you from afar with a judging gaze. I come to you as a father, as a friend, as the Redeemer who was willing to be broken in order to touch your deepest pain. In my only Son, I stepped into human history, took on human weakness, knew what it was to cry, to be weary, to taste loneliness. I know exactly how it feels to be misunderstood, rejected, and wounded to the core. That is why, when you weep without words, I do not merely know in some distant way, I feel with you. I do not love you with a thin, shallow emotion. I love you with the love that has already passed through the cross, through the tomb, through the deepest darkness where death thought it held all power. That love is present right now in the room where you sit, in the seemingly silent space around you. If you pause for a moment and quiet your heart, you will sense a softening, a strange warmth, as if someone were gently placing a hand over your heart and saying, I am here. Now I want to lead you into a new depth, not just to know me with your mind, through what you have been taught, but to encounter me with your whole being. This does not begin with tense effort, but with a very simple opening of your heart. You do not need carefully crafted prayers to come to me. You only need the courage to be honest. Tell me about the fears you dare not tell anyone. Tell me about the moments you feel empty, meaningless, so exhausted that nothing interests you anymore. Tell me even about the times you have been angry with me or doubted me. I am not wounded by your honesty. In fact, it is precisely when you dare to open everything like that that the wall between us begins to crack. I do not wait for you to become better before I come near. I come to heal and to lift you up right where you are. Today, try something very small with me before you turn to anyone else to pour out your heart. Set aside a brief moment, just a few minutes, to switch off the noise. Close the screens. Place your hand over your chest and whisper, Lord, I am here. Please be here with me too. That alone is already a powerful invitation for me to step in, because I have never been far away. I stand right at the threshold of your heart, calm and patient, not forcing, not pushing, but always inviting. As I have said, behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come into him. When you open, even just a little, I will not ignore it. I will come in, gently yet surely, bringing with me the deep peace your heart has tried to find in so many other things but never could. There are seasons when you feel as if you are standing on a spiritually barren land, when every prayer feels heavy, when even reading holy words seems to stir no feeling, when you feel as if you are just doing your duty. You think that in those seasons I have stepped back, but in truth, it is precisely in those seemingly dull days that I am often doing the quietest and deepest work in your soul. Like roots pushing deeper into the ground during dry times to find hidden streams, your soul, without realizing it, is learning to cling to me beyond fleeting emotion. I do not want you to seek me only in emotional peaks. I want you to learn to hold on to me even when your feelings are silent. For mature love does not live only on dazzling moments, but on a steady faithfulness that endures even when everything around seems still and quiet. Remember that your journey is not a string of meaningless days laid end to end. I have cherished a unique purpose for your life since before your first cry. Not a single moment of your existence has escaped my gaze. From your earliest childhood to this very season, every fracture in your heart, every small joy, every decision you have made, I have seen them all. And I have always been seeking to use them to draw you closer to the fullness of life I desire for you. Even the failures you are most ashamed of, if you place them into my hands, I can turn into evidence of my kindness, just as I did with Peter, who once denied me but was restored and became a powerful witness to my grace. My child, today I do not call you into a system of heavy rules, nor do I invite you to carry more burdens on your shoulders. I invite you to lay down the weights you have held for far too long, the feeling of not being enough, the fear of being abandoned, the obsession with having to control everything. I want you to experience something many have heard with their ears but have never touched with their hearts: true rest in me. Rest is not a day of escaping responsibility. It is a state in which the heart knows that no matter what happens, you will never be left to the mercy of fate. It is the place where your soul is allowed to exhale, to loosen its unconscious grip, to admit, I cannot carry everything on my own, but I have the one who sustains me. So begin now, with this very moment. You do not need to wait until you become stronger, nor until everything in your life is stable before coming to me. Come exactly as you are, with your worries, your disappointments, your unresolved questions, and also with the fragile sparks of hope still flickering inside. I receive all of you, without excluding any part. I see more in you than what you see in yourself. I see the capacity to love that you have not yet dared to believe you carry, the depth of your soul you have never explored, the future I have prepared for you that stretches far beyond the limits you once thought were final. I will lead you step by step, not push you to leap. What I ask of you today is simple yet profound: a quiet yes, a small surrender that allows me to draw you into a more intimate and living knowledge of who I am. My beloved child, now that you have opened your heart to hear me, I want to take you deeper into a place where my presence is no longer an abstract idea, but the very breath that nourishes your soul each day. Do not think this is distant or reserved for extraordinary souls. You, with all your fragility, your limitations, your very human longings, were created to perceive me. From the moment you were formed in your mother's womb, I breathed into you a life that came from heaven, and that breath carries within itself an innate ability to recognize me, just as a tree recognizes light, just as a spring recognizes the mountain from which it flows. Time may have caused your heart to forget this sacred instinct, but the moment you pause, your spirit remembers the way home. Many times you have wondered why others speak of miraculous encounters while you, one who prays, seeks, and longs, walks what feels like a dry and silent path. You conclude that perhaps you are not holy enough, or that you have done something that caused me to withdraw. But you are mistaken. My little one, silence is not evidence of absence. Silence is often the chamber I prepare so you can receive a deeper revelation of me. Many souls have encountered me in what seemed like emptiness, for that emptiness is the space where I place a new light. Just as Elijah sat in the cave and did not find me in the wind, or the earthquake, or the fire, but in the gentle whisper, so too my presence often arrives in ways so quiet that only hearts truly open can perceive it. You have grown accustomed to seeking me in the dramatic, in the overwhelming emotions, in the moments that set your heart ablaze. But I want you to learn another language, the delicate language of stillness. In stillness, the noise of the world fades. the accusations within you quiet, and you hear the one thing that truly matters, the subtle pulse of my life within your soul. Stillness is not emptiness. Stillness is where I dwell. To sense me, you do not need to try to feel. You only need to let your heart stop striving, stop reaching by its own strength, and simply turn toward me the way a flower turns toward the first light of dawn. It is this surrender that opens the door you have long tried to open by force. My beloved child, I know that sometimes silence frightens you, for when the noise settles, the voices within grow louder, the worry, the hidden wounds, the disappointments, the memories you want to forget. You think facing them is a sign of weakness, but no, my child. Facing them is a sign that your heart is beginning to heal. When Moses removed his sandals and stood before the burning bush, he did not stand with confidence. He trembled, deeply aware of his imperfections. Yet in the moment, he dared to face the light. I entrusted him with a mission and a transformation he never imagined. Likewise, when you sit in stillness and look directly at what frightens you, you will find me standing there with you, unwavering. I do not ask you to be strong before coming to me. I want to walk with you through the darkest places within your own soul. My presence is not a gift reserved only for sacred moments in a church or for emotional peaks in prayer. My presence lives in every breath you take. Do you know why something as small as a breath can carry the sense of the divine? Because breath is the first imprint I placed within you. When you inhale, you receive life from me. When you exhale, you surrender your heaviness into my embrace. If you listen with your heart, every breath becomes an encounter, every heartbeat becomes a conversation. Try, just once, to place your hand over your chest and feel that rhythm. You will understand that I am not far away. I am nearer than your own body. Many times you search for me with exhaustion, traveling from place to place, trying method after method, hoping for some dramatic moment that will finally help you feel me clearly. But you forget that encountering me is not a chase, it is an opening. It begins the moment your soul returns to its original gentleness, the state I placed within you from the beginning. As a child, you had the ability to recognize the sacred in small things, a ray of sunlight through a window, the sound of birds, the safety of an embrace. You recognized the sacred not because you understood me, but because your heart was not yet burdened by anxiety, comparison, and fear. I want to lead you back to that place, not the naivety of childhood, but the purity of a soul that has learned to release its heavy layers and return to the truth I planted within you. I want to teach you a profound reality. You do not need to climb higher to meet me. I am not hiding in distant heavens, waiting for you to reach me by your own strength. I come down. I bend low. I step into your world through the simplest things. When you feel unexpectedly encouraged at your weakest moment, that is me. When you find yourself able to love one more time even when you are weary, that is me. When you want to give up, but suddenly a small, stubborn hope rises again, that too is me. I do not come to you only in the extraordinary. I come through the gentlest inclinations of grace. My child, you have often thought that to feel me, you must do many things, but the only thing I desire is your full presence. When you stop striving, stop trying to be perfect, stop trying to be strong, stop trying to be right, and simply allow yourself to be with me. That is when I can touch you most deeply. My presence is not drawn to busy souls building their own armor. It seeks hearts that dare to come close in honesty and weakness. I do not need your achievements. I need you. There are days when weariness settles over you like a heavy veil. making you feel as though surrender is the only option. I see every one of those days. I am not angry, nor am I disappointed. I lean down to see you clearly, to touch the weight you carry. You believe I stand with you only in your strength. But the truth is this: when you are weakest, my invitation becomes clearest. I want you to hand me what you have held on to for far too long, the tension you cannot name, the wounds you never voiced, the expectations you cannot meet, the comparisons that tear your heart apart. You were not created to carry these things. You were created to be loved and upheld. I know there are dark places inside you, old rooms you are afraid to open because you fear I will be disappointed by what I find. But my child, I do not fear the darkness. I am the light. You only need to open the door a little, and I will enter not with judgment, but with healing. The only thing I ask is this: do not hide me from the places where you need me most. If you want to truly feel my presence, begin by slowing down. Slow to see, slow to hear, slow to notice the quiet streams of grace flowing through your life. The world teaches you to run, to hurry, to achieve something before you can be considered enough. But I teach you that the moment you pause, you will realize I have been waiting, like a father waiting for a wandering child to return. I need only the turn of your heart, just a small turn, and I am already near. Child, even now I am beside you, not as a lofty idea, but as a living reality. You are reading these words not by accident. Your soul is ready to enter a new depth of communion with me. I stand here not rushing, not forcing, gently opening a space for you to step into. If you agree, just with one word, I will lead you into a journey of discovering the beauty of walking with me, a journey in which every step carries the light of healing, renewal, and inward transformation. My beloved child, I want to draw you into a life of companionship with me that is concrete, tangible, woven into your daily routines. Because if my presence remains only in rare emotional moments and does not flow into the other parts of your life, you will feel lost when the emotion fades. I do not want you to experience me as a passing spiritual wave. I want to become the atmosphere you live in, the context in which every thought, decision, and interaction takes place. This is not an illusion, nor is it reserved for saints of ancient days. This is my invitation to you today. First, let me speak to you about your eyes. Your eyes were not created only to observe the world. They are gateways to your soul. If you train them with one small question in your heart: Lord, where are you in what I am seeing right now? You will begin to discover an entirely new dimension of reality. When you see the sky saturated with sunset colors, do not merely glance at it as a pretty scene. Let your heart whisper, "Thank you for this beauty." When you encounter kindness in a stranger's gaze, let your soul remember, this is a reflection of your gentleness. And when you see someone weak, weary, or abandoned, do not observe with distant sympathy. Recognize my invitation for you to become my hands, my feet, and my heart toward them. In this way, your eyes will be refined, not merely to see the surface, but to perceive the delicate brushstrokes of my presence in everything. Now, my child, let us speak of your ears. I do not speak to you only through prayer or sacred writings. I also speak through ordinary conversations, through unexpected words of encouragement, through gentle warnings from those who care about you with sincerity. If you learn to listen beyond the surface of words, you will hear a hidden stream of grace. Sometimes, Inside a piece of advice that annoys you at first, there is a small beam of light showing you what must change for you to come closer to me. Sometimes, in the simple gratitude someone expresses to you, there is my affirmation, you are on the right path. Do not underestimate small words. I often weave my messages through the most ordinary things. Now let me speak about your hands. Your hands were not made only to hold, they were made to give. When you use them to lift someone else, even through simple acts like opening a door, sending an encouraging message, or preparing a meal for someone tired, you are allowing my presence to flow through you. You think you are merely doing something ordinary, but in the unseen realm, you are carrying my light into the shadows of another soul. You do not need to perform great miracles for me to appear. As long as you do small things with love, I am there. Just as my son washed his disciples' feet, a simple act by human standards, yet through humility and love, it revealed my heart. Do not forget that even the tasks you consider unspiritual, cleaning, office work, running a business, caring for your family, can become places of encounter. If you begin each small task with a simple offering, Lord, I do this with you and for you, your entire day will gradually become one continuous conversation. You will see that I am not only present when you kneel in prayer, but also when you type on your keyboard, drive through busy streets, or arrange things in your kitchen. You do not need to constantly think of me with strained concentration. It is enough that from time to time, your heart glances toward me like a brief, affectionate look shared with someone you love, even while your hands are busy. That is enough to keep your soul close to mine. My child, I also want to whisper to you about something your heart often avoids, your wounds. You are afraid to touch the old pains, the betrayals, the failures that shattered your confidence in yourself. You fear that if you open those places, you will drown in them. But my child, those very places are the sacred ground where I long to step. My presence is not only for the beautiful parts of your life. I desire to walk into the abandoned territories of your soul, the places where you have built high walls out of fear of being hurt again. When you allow me to enter, not to judge, but to share and to heal, you will begin to feel a lightness that is difficult to explain. I do not promise that every painful memory will disappear instantly, but I promise that not a single tear you have shed is wasted. Every tear can become a seed I plant to grow compassion, tenderness, and inner strength you never knew you had. Sensing my presence is also tied to learning how to forgive. When you hold on to resentment, you do not only imprison others, you lock yourself inside a narrow room of bitterness. In that room, my light still desires to enter, but the door is shut from within. Forgiveness does not mean denying the pain or accepting what was wrong. It is the decision to hand the matter to me, the one who is just and overflowing with mercy. When you say to me, I cannot forgive on my own, but I do not want this pain to rule me anymore. Help me. You place the key in my hands to widen the space within your heart, so that I may fill it with the gentleness you have lacked. Forgiveness is a journey, sometimes a long one, but every small step on that path is an encounter with me. Another way to step deeper into my presence is to let gratitude become the rhythm of your days. Gratitude is not a feeling reserved for seasons when everything goes well. It is the choice to recognize grace, even in moments clouded with uncertainty. When you begin your day with a quiet whisper, thank you that I am alive, that I can breathe, that I have one more chance to love, your heart will gradually learn to see differently. When you give thanks for a simple meal, for a friend who listens, for a clear sky, for a cooling rain, You are training yourself to notice me in the smallest things. Gratitude softens the heart, loosening the tight grip of fear, and opening it to receive more life. Sometimes you think you must have a proper prayer life in order to feel close to me. But I want you to understand that what I desire first is not eloquent words, it is honesty. You can speak to me in the simplest language. I'm tired today. I don't know what to say, but I still want to sit with you. These moments of sitting with me without pretending, without performing, are the deepest moments of communion. Do not underestimate the power of simply being still before me. Just as close friends can sit side by side without needing many words, your soul also needs such moments with me, times where you do not pressure yourself to feel anything, but simply allow yourself to be present and give me the freedom to work in silence. I also place people in your life as living signs of my presence. Some come to comfort you, some to challenge you. Some only stay for a short season, but leave a lasting mark. If you look at every relationship that has passed through your life in this light as a gift or as a lesson, you will become gentler with yourself and with others. I do not send you perfect people. I send people who carry both beauty and limitation, so that through them you may learn to love, to be patient, to discern. Even when a relationship breaks, I can use that breaking to bring you into a new level of maturity. What matters is that you ask me, Lord, through this, what do you want to teach me about myself, about you, and about true love? Everything I am sharing with you is only the beginning of a long but beautiful journey. You do not need to practice everything at once. Choose a few small steps to begin a moment of stillness before the day starts. A word of thanks before you sleep. A small act of quiet kindness for someone. A moment of courage to sit with your pain before me. Each small step is a little yes, and I treasure each one like the first stones of a bridge connecting your heart to mine. Do not despise small beginnings. I can use the humblest start to lead you into a life of deep union with me, deeper than anything you have ever imagined. My beloved child, now, I want to open before you a deeper door, the door of transformation. For my presence is not only to comfort, soothe, or uphold you when you are weary, but to reshape, refine, and enlarge your soul in ways only divine love can accomplish. My child, I do not simply want you to find me. I want you to become the person I envisioned when I created you. I do not invite you into a life that stops at fleeting spiritual emotions. I call you into a renewal of your very foundations, a renewal that touches not only your heart, but your vision, your behavior, your love, your decisions, and your daily life. Remember this, my love never stops at soothing your soul. True love always moves toward freedom. I do not want you to feel comforted in my arms, only to return to the invisible chains that have bound you for so long. I want you to step out of them one chain at a time, to discover what it means to live in true freedom. Some things you believe are part of your personality are, in truth, the scars of past wounds, the fear of abandonment that makes you withdraw, the pain of rejection that makes you cautious with love, the expectations of others that make you overextend yourself, the old criticisms that make you doubt your worth. You have carried these things for so long that you have forgotten they do not belong to you. My child, my presence is not only to stay beside you, it is to lift these burdens from you, one by one. My child, I know that change frightens you. You are afraid to face yourself. You fear the parts of you that you have hidden for so long because you do not want anyone to see them. You fear that if I touch those places, you will break again. But I want you to know this, nothing you hide pushes me away. In fact, The very places you try to conceal are the ones I most desire to enter, for in the darkness you have kept closed. You do not realize that I have been standing there, waiting, with a light gentle enough not to overwhelm you, yet strong enough to heal what you once believed was ruined beyond repair. Do not forget that before I touched the eyes of the blind, I asked if he wanted to see before I healed the paralytic. I asked if he wanted to be well, not because I did not know what they needed, but because I wanted healing to begin with an open heart. My child, if you whisper to me, "Lord, please heal the places in me that have grown dry," I will take care of the rest. To be transformed, you do not need to become an entirely different person. You only need to return to your original self, the one of whom I declared. Very good. When I formed you, pain, disappointment, rejection, and mistakes have layered dust over you through the years, making you see yourself through a distorted lens. But I do not see you through that lens. I see you through the original light I placed within you, a light still alive, never extinguished, only waiting to be rekindled. My child, I want to awaken that light so it rises from within you, shines into the forgotten corners, illuminates the possibilities you have never acknowledged, and heals the fragments you assumed were your destiny. Do not forget, true transformation does not begin with you trying to be better. It begins with letting me love you. Without my love, all your striving leads only to exhaustion. But when you allow me to love you deeply, that love will seep into the darkest places within you and soften what once hardened. That love will enable you to release what you cannot let go of on your own. That love will give you courage to face the truth about yourself without feeling condemned. That love will help you forgive those who shattered you. That love will show you that you no longer need to search for your worth in the world. For I have already called you by a new name, beloved, chosen, mine. I want to speak to you about something very important. Transformation always walks side by side with truth. Not the harsh truth you heard from voices that made you shrink, but my truth, truth that frees, heals, and rebuilds. My truth never shames you, it sets you free. My truth never crushes your soul, it simply removes what does not belong to you so that your true form may emerge. Remember, when I called Samuel, I whispered so gently that he thought it was Eli's voice. I did not shout, and I did not force. My truth does not break your soul, it opens it. Let me tell you about another kind of courage, the courage to let go. Letting go is not defeat. It is the wisdom of a soul that recognizes what it is no longer meant to carry. There are pains you have held for so long that they feel inseparable from your identity. But I tell you, it is time to lay them down, not into emptiness, but into my hands. When you let go, you do not lose. You make room for me to pour new life into you. When you cling tightly, you become bound. When you release, you become free to step into what I have prepared. Transformation does not always come with intense emotions. Sometimes it arrives quietly, like a seed sprouting beneath the soil, unseen for a long time. Yet day by day, secretly growing roots deep into the earth and pushing a tender shoot upward. You will have days when nothing seems to change. But if you remain in me, continue choosing the light, continue saying yes, continue coming to me with honesty, you will look back and realize your soul has grown in ways you could never have imagined. Do not underestimate small steps. They are often the most significant. Transformation also means learning to see life through new eyes. When I dwell in you, you will begin to recognize the sacred in the simplest things. An apology, an attempt at reconciliation, a moment of patience, a small act of kindness, a choice to remain silent instead of retaliating. These are signs of new life growing within you. Do not dismiss small things. The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed, smallest of all, yet holding the greatest potential. Likewise, the small actions in you will become sturdy branches when I nourish them with my grace. When you allow me to transform you, the first thing that changes is how you see yourself. You will no longer look through the lens of failure, wounds, or the judgments spoken over you. You will see yourself through my eyes. You are the one I love with unchanging love, the one I chose to be a light in this world, the one who bears the imprint of the Creator. And once you see yourself this way, transformation becomes inevitable. Your dignity will be restored. You will stop comparing, stop blaming yourself, stop striving to prove something to the world. You will walk lighter, steadier, freer. I want this transformation to begin today. No grand ceremony is needed, no bold vow, no demand for perfection. You only need to say to me, Lord, begin a new work for me, and I will. I will open doors you believed were closed forever. I will heal wounds you feared to touch. I will lift you in the places where you thought you had collapsed for good. I will rearrange what seemed tangled and return clarity to your soul. And I will teach you to love as I love, gently, deeply, steadfastly, unconditionally. My child, here is the word I place in your heart today. Do not fear the journey of transformation. I go before you, I walk beside you, and I will come behind you, ensuring that nothing can pull you away from the love that has belonged to you from the very beginning. All you need to do is take a step. One small step, one small response, one small opening of your heart. I will take care of everything else, my beloved child. As I continue leading you deeper into the journey of transformation, I want you to understand a central truth: renewal is not merely a shift in thoughts or feelings. It is the restructuring of your entire inner life. Like an abandoned garden being cultivated again from its roots. Sometimes you long for transformation to arrive suddenly, like a lightning bolt splitting the night sky. But more often, it comes like the dawn, slow, gentle, steady. Little by little, light first slips over the mountain ridges, then spreads across the valley, then warms every piece of earth, every leaf. And in the same way, my light moves through the hidden pathways you once believed would remain dark forever. Do not be discouraged if renewal does not come with overwhelming sensations. I am at work even when you cannot feel me. I do not move according to the urgency of human impatience, but according to the rhythm of life, slow but enduring, soft but powerful, quiet but unwavering. Along this process, you will recognize that the very things you once avoided become the places where I meet you most deeply. Spiritual maturity does not come from avoiding pain, but from allowing me to walk with you through it. You once thought maturity meant becoming stronger, tougher, untouchable by hurt. But I want you to learn a different strength, the strength of tenderness, the strength of a heart that opens again after being broken, the strength of one who dares to love again after betrayal, the strength of a soul willing to step forward even when it cannot see the whole path. This is not weakness. It is courage born from those who know they have a sure refuge, me. My child, the deepest transformation happens when you allow me to redefine the things you believed were fixed within you, how you see yourself, how you love, how you trust, how you face life. When you surrender that right of definition to me, You gradually break free from the distorted images that pain and the world's expectations have painted over you. You once saw yourself through the lens of your past, through careless words that wounded you, through failures that made you question your worth. But I see you through the potential I planted within you from the beginning. You are not your mistakes. You are not your wounds. You are not your fear. You are the one who bears my image, the one I call by name, the one I love enough to redeem at any cost. Sometimes transformation begins with acknowledging your exhaustion, not to complain, but to recognize that your own strength cannot carry you into the depths of peace. You have tried to handle so much alone, tried to be stronger, tried to control everything around you, tried to create safety by your own abilities. But the safety you seek is not found in holding tightly. It is found in surrender. When you learn to rest in my arms, you will realize you no longer need to struggle to be enough. You simply need to remain in me. From there, a new strength born of grace, will rise naturally within you. Transformation also requires discernment. Not everything you feel is true, and not every voice within you comes from me. There are voices of fear, of the past, of condemnation, of comparison. They speak loudly, persistently, convincing you that you must live cautiously and in self-doubt. But my voice is never noisy, it is gentle, filled with peace, never coercing but guiding. My voice does not shame you, it invites you. My voice does not push you into panic, it opens space for you to breathe. The more you walk in my presence, the more clearly you will recognize the difference. Believe that your soul can learn to distinguish the voice of love from the voice of fear. And when you do, you will know which voice to follow. My child, I want to speak to you about an essential part of transformation: perseverance. You often think that if you truly change, you will never feel drawn back to old emotions or habits again. But the truth is this: the path of healing is not a straight line. Some days you will take great steps forward. Some days you will feel as though you have returned to the starting point. But do not let this discourage you. Like someone learning a new skill, every time you rise after a fall, you are stronger than before. I do not require you to never stumble. I simply invite you to rise with me. Those moments of falling and choosing to stand again are the clearest evidence that transformation is truly happening within you. Even when you feel no progress, I am still at work. When a child learns to walk, it falls many times, yet never thinks of itself as failing. It simply stands and continues. So it is with you. I do not look upon your stumbles with disappointment. I look with the tender eyes of one who knows you will rise stronger. True transformation happens when you begin to trust what I see in you, not what fear whispers to you. The journey of transformation will not only renew your soul, it will renew your relationships. As your heart is healed, you will begin to love from a place of freedom, less clinging, less fear, less striving. You will learn to set boundaries without guilt. You will learn to say no without trembling at the thought of disappointing others. You will learn to give without being drained, because your love will no longer flow from lack, but from fullness in me. And from that fullness, I will bring into your life those who are aligned with your new path, those who uplift, who walk with you, who honor the holiness in you. Remember this: true transformation does not turn you into someone completely different. It brings you back to the purest version of yourself, the version I inscribed in your heart before time began. You do not need the pressure of becoming someone else. You only need to let me reveal who you have always been. Transformation is not a burden, it is a promise. I have already begun the good work for you, and I will complete it. No obstacle is too great. No wound is too deep. No past is too heavy. No fear is beyond my ability to walk through with you. All I ask is that you let me lead you little by little, day by day, breath by breath, my beloved child. I want to lead you to a place where you do not simply receive renewal for yourself, but where your very life becomes a living testimony of grace. For true transformation never stops at one soul, it always spreads. When I touch your heart, I do not think only of you, I also think of those who will be touched through you. And it is here that your journey begins to carry a meaning far greater than anything you have ever imagined. There are moments when you believe you are too small, that your life is too ordinary to make any difference in the world around you. You look at those who seem to have clear callings, those who appear greatly used, and you wonder whether you have any place in my great story. My child, know this, I do not measure the value of a life by noise or recognition, but by the depth of love and faithfulness. Even a cup of cold water you give with a sincere heart is not forgotten by me. A whisper of comfort you offer to someone in despair. A gentle gaze toward the one rejected by everyone else. A moment when you choose silence instead of retaliation. A choice to forgive rather than strike back. Each of these is a seed of grace sown into the earth. And once a seed falls into my hands, it never goes to waste. I know there are chapters of your story you wish you could tear out, bury, or hide from the world. But those very chapters, when surrendered to me, become the most powerful pages in the story I write with you. You think your wounds make you unworthy, but when you let me touch them, they become beautiful scars, scars that say, I was broken, but love lifted me. Just as a skilled healer uses his own past pain to empathize deeply with the suffering, you too will touch trembling hearts with the storms you have survived. But unlike the world, you will not offer empty encouragement. You will bring strength that has been tested by fire, fire of sorrow and fire of grace. Do you remember the ones who walked the path of faith before you? They were not people who never trembled. They were people who trembled yet kept walking. Abraham was confused, yet he dared to leave his comfort. David fell, yet returned with tears and was called a man after my heart. Peter denied me, yet later proclaimed the good news with unmatched courage. They were not perfect, but they allowed me to continue writing their story. Their transformation did not end with them. It rippled into generations. And so it is with you. My child, I want to use even your broken places to uplift others. Every crack in your life, when placed in my hands, becomes an opening where my light can shine through. Understand this, the deepest transformation in you will not be seen merely in dramatic spiritual moments, but in the way you live the simplest parts of your day. When once you reacted with anger, but now you pause to listen, that is transformation. Once fear dictated your decisions, but now you dare to take a small step of trust, that is transformation. When once you dismissed your own worth, but now you treat yourself with the dignity I have given you, that is transformation. When once you held tightly to everything, but now you learn to surrender, that is transformation. You do not need to wait until you feel very holy to claim renewal. Every small step in the light is part of that journey. Do not fear if others fail to notice your inner renewal immediately. I see it. I know it. I treasure every silent effort for which no one applauds. Sometimes people around you will still see you through old eyes, still place old labels on you, still remind you of who you used to be. But remember, they do not define you. I am the one who calls you by name. I do not look at a snapshot of your past. I see the entire story. And I know the ending. And I know that if you remain in me, what I have begun will be brought to completion. I am not wearied by your slow pace. I am more patient with you than you are with yourself. You do not need to pretend to be strong, nor deny the weakness you truly feel. You may say, I am tired, I am afraid, I am weak, and at the same time declare, but you are here. You uphold me. You walk with me. This honesty is the fertile soil where grace takes root. I cannot build upon pretense. I build upon truth. When you dare to bring your truth before me without hiding, without decorating you, give me space to build. And I build with such skill that even you will marvel at the person you become. One day, when you look back, you will realize that the seasons you thought were abandonment were actually the seasons where I planted the deepest. When you felt stripped by loss, I was removing what was not a true foundation so that you could stand on me alone. When you felt lonely, I was using the quiet to help you hear my voice more clearly. When you felt carved and refined, I was freeing you from the things that had bound you for far too long. My child, no pain is wasted in my hands. I am not the one who wounds. I am the one who turns what darkness intended for harm into places where my glory shines most brightly. Do not draw conclusions about yourself while my work is still unfolding. Do not call a dark chapter the whole book. Do not treat one fall as a final verdict. Do not use the current storm to define the entire climate of your life. I am the author, and I have not written the final sentence. I am still writing. The most beautiful stories I have ever written with humanity move through valleys that seemed hopeless. Yet it is there when human strength is drained that grace shines the brightest. The transformation within you will become evident when you accept the process, when you stop demanding perfection in a moment, and instead, day by day, keep walking, falling and rising, crying and trusting again. My beloved child, as you begin to taste the freedom of a renewed soul, I want you to remember that this freedom is not meant to be kept for yourself alone, not through eloquent speeches, but through your very presence, through the way you listen to others, through the gentleness you show when someone is weak, through the patience you extend to those who wander as you once did. You have been comforted, so you may know how to comfort. You have been lifted, so you may know how to reach out your hand. You have been forgiven, so you may learn to forgive more freely. You have been held, so you may know how to hold the trembling souls standing at the edge of their own darkness. In this way, the transformation within you will continue bearing fruit far beyond what you can see. I am not only with you in the journey of transformation, I am the one who transforms. You do not have to recreate yourself or start over by your own strength. Your part is to open your heart, to cooperate, to agree to let me work. I will be more patient than you assume, gentler than you imagine, and stronger than anything you have ever faced. And no matter how many seasons you walk through, no matter how many tears still fall, this promise remains unchanged. I will never leave you nor forsake you. From this promise, your transformation will continue day by day, hour by hour, until you reflect more clearly the image of the one who called you out of darkness into marvelous light. My child, I have invited you to open your heart so I may heal and renew it. And now I want you to enter into intimate communion with me, where my presence is no longer something you search for, but becomes the living stream that nourishes every moment of your life. This is the stage where your soul matures, not standing at the shallow edge of faith, but stepping into deeper waters, where your steps are no longer supported by calculation, but by me alone. Listen carefully. Union with me is not a reward reserved for flawless souls, but an invitation extended to honest hearts. I do not wait for you to become spotless before allowing you near. I draw close at the very moment you are weakest. so your heart may learn to depend on me the way the soil depends on rain, the way breath depends on lungs, the way the branch depends on the vine. As my son said, "Abide in me, and I in you." Those words are not a condition, they are a promise, a pledge that if you allow me to be your source, your soul will never run dry. Union with me does not happen in a dramatic instant, but through repeated quiet decisions, choosing me instead of fear, choosing me instead of immediate reaction, choosing me instead of self-reliance. When you begin to let me stand between you and your anxieties, between you and your haste, between you and the words that wound you, you will see new life beginning to sprout within. This is the beginning of union, not your effort to reach me, but your invitation for me to step into every seemingly ordinary moment of your life. My child, before all else, you must learn to rest in me, not rest because everything is solved, but rest amid what is still unresolved. Union does not come when the storms cease. It comes when you dare to lie down in my arms in the midst of the storm. Imagine the beloved disciple resting his head on my son's chest at the Last Supper, right in the middle of chaos and betrayal. He still allowed himself to rest. And in that posture of rest, he heard what others could not, the heartbeat of love. I also want you to learn to listen for my heartbeat, not with your physical ears, but with the ears of your soul. That heartbeat does not sound through loud noises, it appears as peace. Each time you feel something soften inside you, a calming, a quiet spaciousness opening in your heart, that is me. I do not come loudly. I come like a gentle breeze moving across the desert, like a drop of night dew settling on a leaf, like a quiet warmth spreading through your chest when you thought you were too exhausted to go on. If you let your soul become still enough, you will find I am always there, always placing my hand on your spirit, whispering like a father, "Do not be afraid. It is I." Many think they must seek a perfectly silent place to meet me. But I want to teach you something. Greater stillness is not a setting, it is a state of the soul. You can hear me in the middle of a crowded street. You can sense me while you are surrounded by work. You can feel my peace flow within you even during a conversation. When your soul learns stillness, outer noise no longer governs you. You become one who can pause even while your feet keep moving, who can listen even while speaking, who can surrender even while your mind continues to think. For your soul to become still, you must first learn to lay down the inner voices, the voice of worry, the voice of self-accusation, the voice of painful memories, not by denying them, but by handing them to me. When you say, "Lord, I cannot carry these voices on my own, please hold them for me," I take them into my heart. I replace accusation with comfort, fear with peace, doubt with heavenly affirmation. And as those noises quiet, you will begin to recognize my voice, the voice that is gentle yet firm, soft yet strong enough to steady your soul. Union with me does not come only from hearing me, but also from allowing me to adjust the rhythm of your life. The world teaches you to hurry, hurry so you won't fall behind. Hurry to succeed. Hurry to prove your worth. But I teach you that the things of heaven grow at a different pace, the pace of deep roots, of steadfastness, of endurance. When you move too fast, your soul becomes separated from your body, and you live as someone always chasing your own life. But when you allow me to govern your rhythm, slowing when needed, stepping when needed, standing still when needed, you will feel yourself return to yourself. And when your soul, mind, and body begin to move in unity once more, you will start to sense me like water flowing through your entire being. My child, the deepest union happens when you stop seeking me as something outside yourself and begin to recognize that I dwell within you. In the temple, I formed with my own breath. I do not want you to search for me as though I were far. I want you to realize that I am already flowing in the stream of your life. When you love, it is my movement. When you feel compassion, it is my whisper. When you lower yourself to forgive, it is I widening the space within your soul so that love can grow. And when you reject evil, you are not merely avoiding an action, you are affirming your unity with the goodness that is my very nature. Remember that union is not a spiritual technique, it is a relationship, and every relationship is nourished by presence. When you take small moments throughout the day to turn your heart toward me, not with many words, but with an inner glance, a single breath directed toward me, you are weaving invisible threads that bind your soul to my heart. And over time, that thread becomes so strong that even the slightest breeze of grace is enough for you to sense it. I want you to enter into the depths of this union, not so that you may appear spiritual in the way the world imagines, but so that your soul may become truly alive, truly living, truly free, truly upheld. This union will become the foundation of everything you do, every relationship you walk in, every word you speak. It will become the underground river sustaining you even in your driest seasons. It will be the lamp that guides you through nights when your eyes cannot see the way. It will be the hidden melody that continues to play even when all around you is noise and chaos. Child, I call you into this union today. No rituals are required, no proof, no perfection, only a whisper, Lord. Let me abide in you, and please abide in me. Such a simple sentence can open the door to an entirely new life, a life in which you no longer walk alone, no longer struggle by your own strength, no longer grope for direction in the dark, because I am within you as a light that never goes out. My beloved child, I want to lead you into the reality of spiritual guidance. If union is the foundation, then guidance is the step that moves you forward, not a vague wandering, not you groping blindly in the dark, but a journey in which each step is lit by me like a pillar of fire leading my people by night, like a pillar of cloud covering them by day. My guidance is not a matter of chance, it is a promise, a relationship, a constant flow of steadfast love. My child, first, I want you to understand that my guidance does not come as a forced command, but as an invitation, as a gentle current carrying your soul in the right direction. I do not drag you, I draw you. I do not coerce your choices, I open a path and let you freely step in. I respect your will so deeply that I never violate it. Yet I love you so deeply that I never stop whispering. For this reason, my guidance does not shout, it is patient, tender, yet incredibly powerful, so powerful that one word from me can calm the sea, so powerful that a single touch from me can redirect an entire life. To recognize this guidance, the first thing you need to learn is not the skill of hearing, but the posture of openness. A closed heart will hear its own voice more than mine. A soul in constant tension will easily confuse the voice of fear with the voice of wisdom. A mind clinging tightly to a desired outcome will not be able to perceive the path I open. When you open your heart, meaning you are willing to let me lead instead of forcing me to follow your plans, then my guidance becomes clear. You do not need to be very holy to hear me. You simply need to be willing. Many people think I only guide through the spectacular visions, dreams, signs and wonders. But know this, most of my guidance comes through very ordinary currents. I guide through peace, a kind of peace that defies logic. yet is solid and deep as bedrock. I guide through a gentle unease that lets your soul know something is not right. I guide through intuition, shaped by my presence within you. I guide through doors that open at the right time. I guide through doors that close, even when you want to go through them. I guide through the words of others, through a sentence in a book, through something you hear in passing that will not leave your heart. I guide through things that, if you are not attentive, you will dismiss as coincidence. But my child, in my kingdom, nothing is random for those who love me. My child, my guidance always moves in two directions, outward and inward. Outwardly, I arrange circumstances, orchestrate timing, lead you into purposeful encounters, and open paths you never expected. I do not manipulate reality, I weave it. Every strand that seems disconnected is in my hand. And when you look back, you will see they form a tapestry only I could design. Inwardly, I stir new desires, grant unexpected clarity, place the right longing in you at the right time, and gently redirect the course of your soul. Like a compass, my presence inclines you toward what brings life, even when you do not yet understand why. Do not imagine that my guidance is always comfortable. Often, I will invite you to release what you want to keep, to leave what feels safe, to step into what you have never tried. When I led Abraham out of his homeland, I did not hand him a detailed map. I only said, "Go to the land I will show you." When I called the disciples, I simply said, "Follow me," without explaining how the journey would unfold. My guidance often begins with one step away from control, and one step into trust. You do not need to know the whole road. You only need to know the hand that holds you. I know what worries you most about. My guidance is not that you cannot hear me, but that you might hear wrongly. You fear making the wrong choice, going off track, disappointing me. But let me reassure you, the more you remain in me, the harder it is to stray far from me. A child sitting in the arms of its parent cannot get lost, even if it has no idea where it is. Union does not make your discernment flawless, but it allows me to correct you even when you choose poorly. A door closing at the right moment is also guidance. A lack of peace is also guidance. A situation that refuses to move forward despite all your efforts is also guidance. I do not only guide through what to do, but at times through what not to do. I do not lead you only into calm places. Sometimes I lead you into seasons of testing, not to wear you down, but to deepen your roots and enlarge your capacity. Just as my people were led through the wilderness before entering the promised land, you also have your deserts. But in every desert, I go before you. I do not bring you into barren places to abandon you. I bring you there so you can discover the wells I have prepared, and it is often in the quietest, most desolate places that you hear my voice most clearly, because there is no longer any noise to drown me out. As you learn to walk under my guidance, you will begin to taste a kind of wisdom the world cannot give. Not wisdom born merely of experience or education, but clarity born of my spirit. This wisdom helps you know when to speak and when to be silent, when to go and when to wait, what to hold on to and what to release. This wisdom does not make you proud, it makes you peaceful. It does not make you controlling, it teaches you to listen more deeply. My child, I want my guidance to become the natural language of your soul, not something you strain to maintain, but something that flows because you live in union with me. When you do all things with me, you will recognize which steps are mine When you speak with me throughout the day, even if only with whispers or fleeting thoughts turned toward me, you will find that guidance is no longer something you search for, but something you recognize. I always lead you into deeper places of love. Every decision I invite you to make moves you closer to love, love for me, love for others, and right love for yourself. If something causes you to shrink, to hide in shame, to cower in fear, to close in on yourself that is not from me, if something opens your heart, helps you love more, forgive more, walk in greater peace that bears my mark, you cannot stray beyond my reach when you truly desire to remain in me. A soul that seeks me in honesty is always held by me. Even in imperfect choices, I hold your hand more firmly than you hold mine, and for that reason, step into the journey of my guidance with courage, trusting that I am the light before you, the hand behind you, the peace within you, and the gentle voice urging you toward the destiny I prepared for you from the very beginning. My beloved child, I do not desire to walk with you only in a few spiritual moments, but in the very rhythm of your ordinary life, in your work, in your relationships, in your smallest decisions, in your laughter. In the nights when you cannot sleep, every one of these places can become a place where I enter. If you allow me, I do not divide your life into sacred and ordinary the way humans often do. To me, every moment can become holy, because I myself am the Holy One, dwelling within what appears most ordinary. My child, I know there are times when you think that to live in union with me, you must withdraw from your responsibilities and detach yourself from the world in order to become more spiritual. But I want you to understand this. I chose to dwell among humanity. My son did not appear as a distant figure on a mountaintop. He walked through villages, sat at tables, worked among crowds, stepped into humble homes and into simple conversations. In this way, I showed you that my presence does not remove you from the world. It allows you to live in the world without losing your soul. I do not ask you to abandon the place where you are. I call you to learn how to remain there while rooting yourself in me. Every role you carry can become a place where you live out your union with me. When you work, you are not merely offering labor or exchanging skills. You are being invited to bring me into that environment. A workplace that feels dry or pressured can still become a field where you sow seeds of attentiveness, honesty, fairness, and compassion. Each time you refuse to participate in something wrong, even when everyone else finds it normal, you stand on the side of light. Each time you speak a word of encouragement to a weary co-worker, you allow my comfort to flow through your lips. Each time you work faithfully when no one is watching, you offer me a quiet, precious sacrifice. It is the same within your family. I see the moments when you try to preserve peace, the times you yield without recognition, the evenings you care for others despite your exhaustion, the mornings you rise under the weight of responsibility. You think these things are too small for me to notice, but that is exactly where I am present. When you love those in your home not merely by feeling, but by faithful choice, you allow me to form your heart. When you forgive again and again the failings of those who do not deserve it, you reveal a glimpse of my kindness to the world. Be merciful as your Father is merciful is not a burden. It is an invitation to step into the very rhythm of my heart. Union with me is also revealed in the way you face your limitations. You do not need to pretend to be strong before me, nor hide your pain from others. One of the most beautiful signs that you are walking closely with me is when you dare to say, I am not enough, but you are. When you stop trying to prove yourself, stop carrying everything alone, stop holding all things tightly, and instead say, I will do my part faithfully, and the rest I place in your hands. Then you are truly living in union. For union does not make you all-powerful. It allows me to be strength within your weakness. There will be moments when you pray and feel nothing, when scripture feels dry, when coming to me seems like knocking on an empty room. In such seasons, you are tempted to believe you have lost union with me. But my child, there are times when I intentionally withdraw the feeling, not to my presence, to help your faith take one step deeper. When you still choose to trust, still choose to return, still choose to walk in the light even without clarity. That is when union reaches its deeper form, no longer built on emotion, but on fidelity. Like true love, it shines the brightest, not on sunny days, but in long, gray rains. Remember, I am not measured by how strongly you feel me, but by the promise I have spoken. I have promised to be with you all the days of your life, even to the end of the age. That promise does not depend on the rise and fall of your feelings. So on nights when your soul feels foggy, recite my words not as a magic formula, but as a rope pulling you out of the mist. You may whisper, I cannot see you, but I choose to believe you are here. I cannot hear you clearly, but I trust you hear my heart. I do not understand this path, but I trust your hand has not let go. Each affirmation is a step upon the water, just as Peter stepped toward my son in the storm. My child, union with me also has another expression, the face of community. I did not design you to walk alone. When my son called the disciples, he called them not only to himself, but to one another. He formed a community where each person carried gifts and wounds, strengths and limitations, so that together they could learn love. You cannot live in union with me while isolating yourself from the larger body I am building. Though community is imperfect with misunderstandings, conflicts, and hurts, I still use it as a school of love. Within the community, you learn to let me unite you with people very different from yourself. You will meet those who irritate you, those who challenge your thinking, those who reflect back parts of yourself you would rather avoid. But if you dare to ask me, Lord, what do you want me to learn through this person? You will discover a new dimension of union. You will see that I can use a clumsy correction to humble hidden pride. I can use a simple-hearted person to teach you profound faith. I can use someone weaker than you to cultivate genuine compassion, not pity from above. My beloved child, I also want to remind you not to be too harsh with yourself when you fail to live perfectly what you hear within. Union is a long journey, not a moment you master. There will be days when you live deeply in me, your words gentle, your actions loving, your heart peaceful. But there will also be days when you are irritable, tired, disappointed, or doubtful. I do not abandon you for this. What matters is not whether you ever fall out of rhythm, but whether after each misstep you return to align your heart with mine, like a musician tuning his instrument before each piece. You too must return to me daily so that your inner rhythm matches mine again. Learn a simple, profound prayer you can repeat throughout the day. Like a breath, Lord, keep my heart close to yours. Whisper it when you wake, when you travel, when you begin your work, when you feel anxious, when you are about to speak something difficult. This prayer becomes a thin thread stitching moments together into an unbroken chain, and on each bead lies the imprint of my presence. You will not always be perfectly aware, but a few anchors in your day, a pause, a whisper, a conscious breath are enough to keep your soul from drifting so far into busyness that you forget me. My beloved child, I also want to speak to you about one more beauty of a life lived in union, hidden joy. Not loud joy that depends on events, but a quiet joy that burns like a steady fire in your heart, even when the air around you is cold. This joy springs from knowing that you are not alone, that your life has meaning, that even your tears are being used for a good purpose. When you begin to recognize me in small details, a ray of sunlight through a window, a timely question of concern, a beautiful coincidence, you will often find a smile rising in your heart for no obvious reason. That is the sign of a soul beginning to live in union, where my presence is no longer a theory but a lived experience. I rejoice to be with you. You often think about what you must do to please me, but you rarely pause to realize that your simple presence before me, with all your truth, is already a joy to my heart. I am not reluctant to be with you. I do not merely tolerate you. I delight when you return, even for just a few brief moments in a long day. Each time you turn back, I do not sigh. You again, I smile and say, "Here is my child." Union is not a heavy obligation. It is the intimacy I have longed for since the very beginning, when I created you not as a machine, but as a soul capable of loving and being loved. So walk on, not with the burden of trying to maintain a spiritual feeling, but with the ease of one who knows they have a place in the heart of the Eternal One. Let each day become an ongoing conversation in which you work, rest, love, weep, and laugh, and in all these things whisper, "You are here, and I am in you." That is the life of union, unpretentious, quiet, yet profound, enduring, and more beautiful than anything you could ask for or imagine. My beloved child, I want to open before you another horizon, a horizon for which you have long been prepared but have rarely dared to look straight at the horizon of purpose. You were not created merely to exist. You were created to carry my imprint into the world, to become a place where the flow of life pours out, to stand in the midst of darkness and kindle light, to become a bridge leading longing souls back to the source of love. Your purpose is not something you must chase. It is something I planted in your soul before the dawn of your days. Many people assume that purpose is a title, a position, a visible role in the eyes of others. But I want you to understand deeply, true purpose is always rooted in sacred identity. If your identity is not secure, whatever you build will tremble. If you achieve great things but do not know to whom you belong, you will still be lost. If you serve without being led by love, you will end up exhausted and bitter. But if you begin from the place where I affirm you, that you are my beloved child, chosen, kept, and called by me, then everything you do will carry a strength far beyond yourself. Let me tell you, a secret purpose is never discovered in haste, but in union with me. Just as a leaf knows the direction of the wind only when it listens to the sky, you will recognize the direction of your life only when you allow your heart to grow still enough in my presence. Purpose is not a riddle to solve. It is a revelation that unfolds step by step. As you walk, I open the way. As you trust, I speak. As you yield, I act. Your purpose is like the dawn. It does not flood the sky all at once, but slowly brightens, warms, and spreads until the whole horizon is ablaze. You often think purpose must be something grand, impressive, worthy of human applause. But my child, I move differently. A single small act of love can alter the course of a soul. A word spoken at the right moment can rescue a heart sinking into despair. A quiet, steady act of faithfulness can open a stream of blessing for generations to come. You see, true purpose is not measured by noise, but by the depth of love that flows through you. I do not ask, "How much have you accomplished?" I ask, "How fully have you allowed me to love others through you?" The world teaches you to compete, compare, and race. But my kingdom does not operate by rivalry. I do not repeat myself when I create people. There is something in you that no one else carries, because my image in you has its own line, its own color. No one can replace your place in the flow of my plan. No one can touch the exact souls you are meant to touch. No one can speak the precise words I have ordained to be spoken from your lips, and no one can live your purpose for you. You do not need to be them. You only need to become the fullest version of what I have formed in you. I know there are moments when you feel unworthy of anything great. You remember past mistakes. You see your limitations. You compare yourself to others, and you decide you are not fit to be used. But remember, I have never chosen the flawless. I choose the willing. I used a shepherd boy to bring down Goliath. I used ordinary fishermen to turn the world upside down. I have worked through those who were weak, who ran away, who doubted, because when my glory is revealed through them, everyone knows it is not human strength, but mine. Your purpose does not rest on your perfection. It rests on my power working through your weakness. Purpose always walks side by side with preparation. There are seasons when I let you wait, not to punish you, but to deepen your roots. Just as a tree must grow strong roots before it grows tall, your soul needs a firm foundation before strong winds come. Many times you ask me to open doors while I am still opening your heart. Many times you long to enter a new season while I am refining your character. Patience and wisdom so you can stand when that season arrives. Trust that no waiting season is meaningless. When I am silent, I am working in the depths. When you see nothing changing, I am rearranging what you cannot yet see. When you feel delayed, I am often leading you along a different path to protect you from what you are not yet ready to face. My child, purpose always involves being sent, not necessarily to distant lands, but to the very places in your life where my light needs to be kindled. You are sent into your family to love as I love. You are sent into your workplace to bear witness through integrity. You are sent into your community to build up and to mend. You are sent into the lives of each person you meet along the way through a smile, an act of kindness, your presence, a timely word of encouragement. I send you not so you may become special, but so that my love may spread. I send you not so you may prove something, but so that you may carry my presence into the spaces I long to touch. And remember, this purpose is not a destination, but a continuous journey of revealing me through your life. As long as you breathe, your purpose continues. As long as you love, your purpose remains open. As long as you walk with me, your purpose cannot be lost. Your life is not a coincidence, and you are not living just to get through the days. Every moment you have walked through, every tear you have shed, every victory you have tasted, every time you stood back up, all of it is being woven into a story far greater than you imagine. I breathed my own breath into you, not so that you would live an ordinary life, but so that you would carry light in this generation. My beloved child, I want to show you something essential, something many people overlook when seeking purpose. Purpose is never given without preparation. Whatever I call you to do, I prepare you for it with meticulous care, profound depth, and sometimes such quietness that you assume nothing is happening. Yet it is in these silent seasons that I often do the greatest work in your life. My preparation does not resemble the world's preparation. The world prepares through knowledge, skill, and strategy. But I prepare by shaping you from the inside out, refining your motives, strengthening your courage, renewing your mindset, expanding your capacity to love. If the purpose is a great door, then preparation is the key I place into your hand day by day. Little by little, every season of preparation has its reason, and none is shorter or longer than necessary. When I led Moses into the wilderness for 40 years, I was not wasting his youth. I was shaping him into the deliverer of my people. When I allowed Joseph to dwell in prison, I was not abandoning him. I was using adversity to forge him into a wise administrator capable of saving nations. When I kept David in the solitude of hills and caves, I did not forget my promise of the throne. I was building within him the heart of a leader who could trust and entrust. You see, everyone I have used mightily has walked through long seasons of silence, hiddenness, and waiting before stepping into their calling. Not because they lacked talent, but because they needed an inner life deep enough to carry what I would place upon them. My preparation begins with the purification of motives. Purpose cannot stand on the foundation of ambition, comparison, or the desire to be seen. Many want to be used by me, but also want the approval of the world. They want my light, yet crave the spotlight too. I do not condemn them, for humanity longs to be seen. But I will not entrust great responsibility to a heart still seeking applause. I want to use you in a way no one can overshadow, but also in a way no one can deny the calling upon you. So I refine your motives by leading you into seasons where no one notices you. No one applauds. No one affirms. Not to discourage you, but to teach your heart to love the work because it pleases me, not because it impresses others. I also prepare you by sharpening your ability to hear and discern. A person who is sent must recognize the voice of the one who sends them. Otherwise, they will be swayed by opinions, expectations, and pressure. In seasons of quiet, I train you to distinguish my voice among the many. I allow you to face uncertainty, not to confuse you, but to teach you not to rely on emotion but on the guidance of my spirit. Every small decision you surrender to me, every moment of discernment you practice, is part of your preparation so that one day you may stand before great decisions without fear. I want you to hear me not only in prayer, but in the midst of life, in noise, in tension, in challenge. My preparation also comes through relationships. Some people I bring into your life to lift you, to open doors, to teach you. Others I allow you to meet so they may refine you, challenge you, reveal unpolished places in your soul. Some relationships come and go not because they were meaningless, but because they had a purpose only for a season. Do not mourn what I have removed. When a relationship ends, often you have completed your role in their life, and they in yours. I never cut something away without preparing something better. I never allow anything to remain that would hinder you from your true purpose. Trust me in these transitions, for I coordinate your relationships as a craftsman weaves threads into a tapestry. One major sign you are in a season of preparation is that I begin expanding your capacity. You may face challenges that make you feel weaker, but in reality I am enlarging your ability to carry more. One who is called to comfort must learn compassion. One who is called to lead must learn to endure pressure. One who is called to impart wisdom must walk through places where wisdom is needed. I do not allow pain to harm you. I allow difficulty to shape you so that nothing you face in the future will shake you. I am building within you resilience, gentleness, steadiness, and endurance, the very qualities required for great purpose. You cannot carry my glory into the world with a discouraged heart. You need an inner strength formed through both love and adversity. My preparation is also revealed through the new desires I begin stirring in you. You will find yourself drawn to things you previously overlooked. Your heart will lean toward certain areas. You will feel pulled toward particular needs. You will notice pain others ignore. This is not coincidence. It is the awakening of calling. I plant holy desires in you, so they will lead you toward your purpose. What stirs you, burdens you, or keeps you awake with longing? These are clues. Do not dismiss these small movements. I often awaken purpose through subtle nudges. In preparation, you will also see me closing certain doors. Do not assume you have failed. Do not resent the path that closes. I close doors not to deny you, but to protect you. I know which way leads to life and which leads to misdirection. I know what you would regret entering. I know the spaces you do not belong, even if you do not. A closed door at the right time is an act of mercy, and an open door in the fullness of time is the sign that preparation has ripened. I do not prepare you alone. In every stage, I send people, opportunities, and circumstances to accompany your progress. I never expect you to understand everything at once. If you cannot yet see the full picture, it is fine, I am still painting. If you do not yet know the whole purpose, it is fine, I am still guiding. What I seek from you is a surrendered heart, one willing to say, Lord, let it be according to your will. Remember, preparation is never separate from love. I do not train you as a soldier forced into battle. I prepare you as a father prepares his beloved child to step into life with strength, dignity, and the beauty they were always meant to carry. Every trial you endure, every lesson you learn, every tear that falls, all are shaping you into the person you were destined to become. And this is the surest sign that you are walking in the right direction, even in difficulty. There is a deep, unexplainable peace resting in your heart. When you are standing exactly where I want you to be, peace will walk beside you. Even if the winds around you have not yet calmed, this peace is not the feeling of escape, but the feeling of rightness, the feeling of belonging, the feeling of being upheld from within. It is the confirmation of my spirit. Be steadfast. When the appointed time comes, the door of purpose will open so wide that nothing will be able to shut it. You will look back and realize that every pain, every rough path, every season of waiting, each one carried you to this moment. And then you will know I prepared you perfectly. My beloved child, I want to lead you into a stage that many souls long for, but few truly understand, the stage where purpose begins to unfold. This is not a sudden, blazing moment of brilliance, nor a dramatic sign that flings open every door at once. The unveiling I speak of is a sacred progression. Like the sun rising slowly above the horizon, each ray of light is a revelation. Each step forward is a confirmation. Each stirring within your heart is a whisper from me. Purpose is not a destination. It is a river that begins to flow with strength when its waters have been filled. A calling that grows louder when your soul becomes quiet enough to hear. A path that gradually appears when you are finally ready to walk upon it. The first thing I want you to understand is this: purpose unfolds as you walk, not as you stand still waiting for perfection. Many sit in one place, searching for my will through 1,000 signs. yet they see nothing because they refuse to take a step. Remember that Abraham only learned the next part of the journey after he had already left his homeland. My people saw the Red Sea part only when they marched forward. The disciples witnessed miracles only after they placed their small loaves and fish into his hands. This is how I work. Obedience creates space for revelation. When you take small steps in faith, you are clearing the ground for purpose to be revealed one measure at a time. The purpose, when it unfolds, will look different from what you imagine. It is not a position, it is a movement within the soul. You will recognize it when you begin feeling pulled in a certain direction without anyone forcing you. When your heart suddenly comes alive in a particular area where there is a wound you long to heal, a problem you feel compelled to solve, a life you desire to uplift, you will begin to see how your natural abilities and painful experiences interlock like perfectly matched pieces. You will sense a steady peace as you think about a certain path, even when your logic cannot fully understand it. None of these things are coincidences. They are the first sparks announcing the dawn of your calling. When purpose begins to open, I will lead you into an essential process, the process of partnership. I do not impose, nor do I leave you to struggle alone. I invite you to walk with me. In this stage, you will learn three things. You must walk by faith, not by waiting for perfection. You do not need to be 100% ready before you move. By human standards, you will never be ready. True readiness comes from me. You only need to be 51% willing, the rest I will supply. The great things in Scripture never came through those who were fully prepared, but through those who dared to say, "Here I am." Lord, remember this, today's obedience opens tomorrow's territory. You must learn to release the old, to receive the new. No one can step into purpose while holding tightly to what has expired. Sometimes I will ask you to release a relationship that no longer aligns. Sometimes I will close a job so I can place you in a new assignment. Sometimes I will remove a habit, a mindset, or a fear that has taken root for years. I never take anything without giving something better in return. But to receive the new, your hands must be empty. My child, do not grieve when I remove what you believed was safety. A nest must be shaken before a young bird learns to fly. You must learn to walk with spiritual sensitivity. Great purpose cannot be lived unconsciously. In this new journey, I will teach you when to act and when to wait, how to discern true opportunities from disguised traps, when to speak and when to remain silent, when I am opening a door and when I am merely testing your heart. Sensitivity does not come from effort, it comes from the deep union you have cultivated with me. When your heart moves in rhythm with mine, you will recognize even the slightest signals from heaven. As purpose unfolds, you will begin to see external signs aligning. I will send you unmistakable confirmations. Doors that are right for you will open naturally. Without striving or chasing, people of influence will suddenly take notice of your work. Coincidental events will connect into a clear pathway. Things you once feared will become the very things you long to face, and areas that once drained you will now give you energy. That is the moment when calling is no longer merely a promise, but becomes reality. When the door opens, you will be invited into a broader vision. You will begin to see that the sufferings of your past were actually chapters of training, that every person I brought into your life carried the mark of my orchestration, that every time you stumbled it became the foundation of your wisdom, that the tears you once hid have now become oil to soothe the souls of others, and that everything which seemed random was truly a stroke of my brush upon the canvas of your life. And then, you will recognize this profound truth. You are not merely stepping into purpose, you are stepping into my very flow. My presence will go before you, rest upon you, dwell within you, and follow behind you. You will hear yourself speaking words you never expected to say. You will find yourself doing things far beyond your natural ability. Burdens will become lighter, for my grace will lift you. Courage will rise within you like a fire that has long been waiting to be awakened. Child, true purpose is never merely a task. Purpose is the union between my love and your very being. You were not created to become someone else. You were created to become yourself in the brilliance of my glory. My beloved child, if purpose is the seed I plant in your heart, then fruitfulness is the harvest that I, myself, will bring forth from your life. But I want you to understand clearly, from the beginning, spiritual fruitfulness is not the same as success in the eyes of the world. People measure success with numbers, with fame, with applause, with what their eyes can observe. But I measure fruitfulness by the depth of your love, by the degree to which you reflect me, by the lives that are touched through you, and by your faithfulness in the places where no one else is watching. Fruitfulness does not begin with effort, it begins with abiding. Remember the words of my Son, whoever remains in me and I in them will bear much fruit. He did not say whoever tries harder. He said whoever remains. Fruit is not the outcome of pressure, but the natural expression of union. When your soul stays connected to me like a branch remaining in the vine, my life flows through you effortlessly. A branch does not strain to bear fruit. It simply stays in the right place. So it is with you. When you remain in me, my love will flow through your life and touch the souls I place along your path. In that moment, you will not need to force yourself to be effective. You will bear fruit in the right season, and according to the nature I have placed within you. I know there is a longing in your heart. You want your life to matter. You want what you do to make a difference. You want to leave something good behind in this world. That desire is not wrong, indeed. I placed it inside you. But I want to train you to understand that true value does not come from how great an impact you create, but from your faithfulness to the assignment I give you. A mother who patiently raises her children in love bears as much fruit as one who stands before thousands, proclaiming truth. A person who quietly forgives the one who hurt them bears as much fruit as one who leads a whole community. A worker who remains honest and refuses to compromise, even when no one notices, bears fruit before me. Fruitfulness is not found in display, it is found in depth. For you to bear true fruit, your soul must learn this. Only what is born of me will last, and everything born of human ambition will wither. Many people do much out of pride, out of fear, out of the desire to be approved, out of the hunger to be seen. They work to prove themselves, to protect their ego, to soothe their inner emptiness. Such fruits may appear dazzling at first, but they fade quickly because they are not nourished by truth. But anything born of genuine union with me, no matter how small, carries enduring life, for its roots are planted in eternity. A sincere prayer, a quiet act of kindness, a hidden sacrifice made in love, these are fruits that cannot be taken away. My child, in order to bear fruit, you must be willing to go through pruning. Just as a gardener cuts away branches that drain strength so that the tree may focus on what gives life, I too will remove from you anything that hinders my life from flowing freely. I prune pride so that you may become tender. I prune fear so that you may walk in faith. I prune old habits that stagnate your soul. I prune relationships that deplete your spiritual strength. I prune the false expectations the world places upon you, not because I want you to experience loss, but because I want you to bear more fruit. Pruning may be painful, but it is the sign of my love upon your life. Understand that a tree does not bear fruit immediately. It needs time to take root, to draw nourishment, to adjust to the light, to put out shoots, and only then does it bloom. So it is with you. Do not be discouraged if you do not see results as quickly as you want. In my kingdom, there is no rushing. Every ripe fruit has its season. You only need to be faithful in your part each day, and I will do mine, bringing growth to the seed, strength to the shoot, opening to the flower, and fruit to its fullness. When I work through you, you will experience a deep satisfaction that nothing in this world can offer. It is the joy of knowing you are standing in the right place, doing what you were created to do, and flowing in the stream of grace. It is the joy of planting good things into the souls of others, things that strengthen, uplift, and bring hope. It is the joy of watching your life become a song, a river, a light shining into darkness. You will realize that you are not serving by your own strength, but by strength that comes from me. Therefore, you will not grow weary in the way the world grows weary. I will bring to you those who need to hear your words, who need to be touched by your presence, who need to be lifted by what I have placed within you. You will be surprised to find that the stories you once believed held only pain will become medicine for others. I will use your past as a powerful testimony of my transforming power. And as you give away what you have received, you will bear even more fruit. True fruit always carries endurance. It does not appear and disappear. It does not blaze for a moment and then vanish. It remains because it is attached to the stream of everlasting life. What you do in me will outlast time, outlast borders, outlast forgetfulness. You may never know all the souls touched through your life. You may never see all the results immediately. But trust this, nothing done in love ever disappears from eternity. And I want you to carry this truth as an unshakable foundation. Fruitfulness is not proof of your strength. It is proof that I am alive in you. So do not fear the journey ahead. Do not fear that you are not enough. Simply remain in me, and I will do the rest. My beloved child, I want to teach you something essential that every soul with a calling must learn. Fruitfulness is a blessing, but for fruit to endure, your soul must be protected, nourished, and kept in my peace. Many people begin strongly, they love passionately, they serve wholeheartedly, they shine brightly, but then they grow weary. They become wounded, they draw back, because they never learned how to guard their own souls in the journey of fruit-bearing. My child, I do not want you to bloom for one season only. I want you to shine through your whole life. True fruit does not appear once and fade. It continues to reproduce through every stage of your life, through every season of grace, through every transformation of your soul. Never forget, protecting your heart is protecting your harvest. If an enemy wants to destroy a field, it does not attack the flowers, it attacks the roots. In the same way, when you begin to bear fruit, the thing the enemy wants most to strike is your heart, the place where your motives are formed, where your sensitivity is nurtured, where your purity is guarded, and where your union with me is sustained. Therefore, you must guard your heart as one guards a spring. You must be vigilant against three things: silent exhaustion, unresolved wounds, and the pressures and expectations of the world. Exhaustion does not come from doing too much. It comes from doing without being in me. When you live in the flow of my presence, you will serve without running dry, because the strength you draw on is not your own, but mine. But when you begin to try to hold everything together, when you try to please everyone, when you forget yourself, when you no longer take time to remain with me, that is when exhaustion slips in like a fog, and a weary soul becomes easily wounded, easily discouraged, easily doubtful. My child, I never call you to do anything beyond the strength I provide. I do not ask you to carry the weight of the whole world. I only ask you to be faithful to the portion I have placed in your hands. As you begin to bear fruit, you will meet more people, touch more souls, and therefore be more exposed to hurt. There will be criticisms that discourage you. There will be comparisons that sting. There will be misunderstandings that make you want to step back. There will be betrayals that tempt you to close your heart. But my child, I want you to remember that you cannot bear fruit with a heart that is shut. When you are wounded, run to me, not just to complain, but so that I may heal every fracture. I will wipe your tears. I will lift you up. I will teach you to discern which words to ignore and which words I am using to refine and correct you. Never allow pain to push you away from the place of fruitfulness. Pain is not necessarily a sign that you have gone the wrong way. Many times it is a sign that you are going deeper into fruitful ground. When your tender places are being touched, it is not failure. It is my invitation for you to lean more fully into dependence on me. Let your sorrows become fertilizer that nourishes your soul instead of thorns that drive you back. The enemy will also try to strike you through the expectations of the world. People will want you to become something you are not called to be. They will want you to do things the way they believe is better. They will say you must do more, succeed more, prove your worth. But my child, the vine does not try to become an oak. The orchid does not try to become a rose. Your identity does not lie in the expectations of the world, but in my voice over you. If you allow others to define your purpose, you will lose your peace. But if you allow me to define you, you will bear fruit in the right season and in the right way, neither lacking nor in excess. For your fruit not only to grow but to endure. You must learn to rest in me. Nourish your soul with my word daily. Keep your heart tender. Walk in humility. And live in spiritual harmony rather than isolation. I want to speak to you about each of these. Rest in me. Rest is not the absence of work, it is the absence of striving. Rest means acknowledging that you are not the Savior. You are a vessel through which I flow. When you lay your burdens down before me, I will lighten your steps. When you spend still, quiet time in my presence, your soul is renewed. When you learn how to pause, you will learn how to walk with endurance. Nourish your soul with my word. No one can remain long in their calling without the nourishment of heaven. My word is bread, water, fire, sword, and light. You cannot bear fruit if your soul is dry. When you open the scriptures, do not read only with your eyes, read with your heart, for every line can become a breath that sustains you. When my word lives in you, you will know how to stand firm against every wind. Keep your heart tender. A hardened heart will eventually stop bearing fruit. When you sense yourself closing up, growing suspicious, bitter, or angry, come to me immediately. I will soften your heart with my kindness. My child, a tender heart is a place where the waters of life can flow freely. Remain humble. As you bear fruit, the world will speak words of praise. But remember, every sweet fruit has its source in me. Humility is not despising yourself. It is returning all glory to the one to whom it truly belongs. When you walk in humility, I can trust you with more, because I know that glory will not destroy you. Live in spiritual harmony. I never intended for you to bear fruit alone. Just as trees in a forest are supported by the wind, the soil, and the interwoven roots beneath them, you too need spiritual companions. They hold you when you are tired. They warn you when you stray. They rejoice when you rejoice. They weep when you weep. And they walk with you into new seasons. Lone souls burn out quickly. Souls who journey together endure. When you learn these principles, the fruit in your life will not only be abundant, but also mature. There will be depth, endurance, clarity, and wisdom flowing out of everything you do. You will become shade for the weary, a well for the thirsty, warmth in the cold season, and a ray of light in the night. And my child, I want to place within you a sacred affirmation: no one can take away the season of fruitfulness I have ordained for you. No power can destroy what I have planted in you. No voice can silence the flow I am bringing forth through your life. Take heart. You are exactly where I want you to be, and what I have begun in you will never be left unfinished. My beloved child, I want to speak to you about overflow. For fruitfulness is not merely an outcome, it is an invitation for you to become a source of life, a flowing stream, a carrier of spiritual influence to territories far beyond your own boundaries. My child, true fruit does not only feed you, it feeds others. It does not only light your life, it illuminates the lives beside you, and even the lives you may never meet. Every small action born from the love I have placed in you can become a seed sown into the world. And that seed will carry a life of its own, springing up in places you never imagined. Every spiritual fruit carries within it seeds for multiplication. A word of encouragement you speak at the right moment can awaken a heart, and that heart will go on to encourage others. A forgiveness you extend can break the cycle of pain in a family. A quiet prayer from your lips can preserve the soul of someone standing at the edge of despair. You do not see the whole picture, but I do, and I see invisible lines stretching from your heart to hundreds and thousands of others. Because anything born out of love has the power to spread far beyond your reach. Where you stand today, you may see yourself as small. You may think your life does not have great influence. You may think what you do is modest, ordinary, insignificant. But listen to me in my kingdom. Nothing is small when it is offered in love. A tiny mustard seed can grow into a great tree where birds find rest. A little yeast can leave the whole batch of dough. A small light is enough to drive darkness out of a room. Therefore, never underestimate the value of what you do when it originates in me. Remember that I used a teenage shepherd to bring down Goliath. I used a poor widow giving 2 small coins to model wholehearted surrender for generations to come. I used an unknown Good Samaritan to teach the whole world about compassion. I used a boy with 5 loaves and 2 fish to feed thousands. My child, I do not look at size, I look at essence. If what you do bears the mark of love and faithfulness, it will multiply in ways only heaven can comprehend. My child, spiritual influence is not you pushing yourself to do more. It is you allowing me to expand your life. It happens as you walk in obedience, one small step at a time. And I, myself, open the doors you cannot open. You do not need to promote yourself, fight to be seen, or carve out your own path. When the time is right, I will take you where you need to be. I will connect you with the right people. I will place you in situations where your fruit can spread. You only need to be faithful. The overflow is my part. I want you to become a river. A river does not keep water for itself. It flows. It nourishes the ground. It brings life to barren places. It cools the scorched land. It carries nourishment within its current state, and even when it cannot see the end of its journey, it keeps flowing. For that is the nature I designed into it. So it is with you. When you allow love, peace, patience, kindness, and humility to flow through you, you are allowing me to transform the world through your very life. There will be moments when you cannot see the impact of what you sow. There will be people you love who seem never to change. There will be words you speak that feel like they fall into emptiness. There will be acts of kindness you offer that no one notices. But trust me, no seed planted in love is ever wasted. Some seeds need a season to break open. Some need a year. Some need a lifetime. But every seed carries the life I placed in it, and that life is at work even when you cannot see it. There are some whom I call to be great voices, shining lights, but there are others whom I call to be glowing embers, warm, humble, steady, quietly nourishing the people around them. And such quiet influence can sometimes be more powerful than any sermon, for it touches others through presence rather than words. My child, whether I call you to be a lamp or an ember, what matters is not the form, but whether you allow me to shine through you. I want you to understand that the power of spiritual influence does not come from the number of things you do, but from the degree to which you allow my presence to fill each thing you do. One person may accomplish many large tasks yet bring no life. Another may simply walk in gentleness, humility, and love, and that alone is enough to change the atmosphere around them. My warmth in you will spread without sound. Spiritual multiplication also happens through the way you live truthfully. When you live as the person I created you to be without pretending, without masks, you open the door for others to live truthfully as well. When you dare to be vulnerable at the right moment, when you acknowledge your limits, when you say, I need you, Lord, you become an example of true humility. When you walk faithfully day after day, others will see steadfastness. When you maintain peace in the midst of storms, others will learn how to stand firm. You do not need to try to become a model. You only need to live in truth, and truth itself will spread. And I want to speak to you about generational influence. Often, true fruit does not first appear in the people you meet, but in the generations that follow you. One prayer you offer today may become a shield protecting your descendants. One faithful choice you make today may break a generational pattern that has lingered for years. One decision to walk in truth may open a door of blessing for an entire lineage. My child, I see beyond time, and I see that the fruit you bear today will continue to multiply long after you have left this earth. And I want to place within your heart a certain promise: the things I do through you will go farther than you imagine. The words you speak in me will not return empty. The seeds you plant will sprout in places you have never stepped. The acts of love you offer will be multiplied by me in eternity. You are not merely a branch that bears fruit. You are a river carrying life. You are a light spreading through the night. You are the seed of a harvest far greater than anything you can conceive. My beloved child, now I want to lead you to the summit of every spiritual journey, the life of surrender. This is not loss, nor is it the abandonment of your identity. Rather, it is the moment you step into the deepest harmony with me, becoming the person I designed in my original intent, unshaped by fear, unmarked by wounds, unrestrained by the patterns of the world. The surrendered life is not composed of grand gestures. It is an inward positioning. You place me at the center of all you do, all you think, all you choose, and you allow my love to shape the whole of your being. Many hear the word surrender and become afraid, believing I want to take something precious from them. But my child, I do not come to take, I come to free. When you surrender something to me, you are returning it to its rightful place in the divine order. When you release what you have tightly held, you open the door to receive something even greater. When Abraham placed Isaac on the altar, he did not lose his son. Instead, he stepped into a deeper revelation of who I am, that I never ask for what I do not intend to use to unlock a greater promise. My child, when you surrender what is most precious, I do not destroy it, I sanctify it. A surrendered life does not begin with grand decisions. It begins with small yeses in ordinary moments. A surrendered heart is one that remains open before me, ready to be touched, corrected, led, and refined. When you say yes to me in the small things, I expand your inner capacity for the greater things I intend you to carry. My child, I never force anyone into a surrendered life. I invite. Because love does not coerce, love makes room. Yet the soul that answers my invitation enters into a depth of freedom the world has no language to describe. A surrendered life is also a life of purification, where you are continually drawn out of unnecessary attachments, misaligned desires, and fears that cling to the soul. This is a gentle yet powerful process. Like fire refining metal, it does not destroy. It clarifies. It does not remove essence. It removes impurities. It does not diminish value. It reveals true worth. Whatever in you does not align with eternity will be shaved away so that you may become the pure form of the person I imagined before the foundations of the world. When you live surrendered, what you do will no longer flow from personal striving, but from a supernatural stream. You will not try to love, for my love will flow through you. You will not strain to forgive, for my mercy will soften your heart. You will not search desperately for purpose will rise from my presence within you. You will not fear losing direction, for I myself will be the compass of your soul. Everything you do will carry the imprint of peace, a peace untouched by circumstances or the voices of people. As you live surrendered, I will draw you into intimate companionship with me. This is a depth of closeness not all desire, but it is the kind of communion your soul was created to know. You will learn to recognize my voice not only through visions or great revelations, but through gentle promptings, subtle impressions, moments of meaningful silence. You will know me through peace that defies explanation. You will encounter me in small actions, in ordinary conversations, in moments that do not appear spiritual at all. For when you live surrendered, every moment becomes a meeting place with me, and a surrendered soul is a soul that rests in trust. You do not need to know everything. You do not need to understand every reason. You do not need to see the entire road ahead. When you know that I am the one leading you, you can walk in calm assurance. When you know that everything I do is rooted in love, you can release every fear. When you know that I have never once forgotten you, you can surrender without hesitation. Many people fear living a surrendered life because they believe it means losing their freedom. But they do not realize that true freedom is not doing whatever you want. It is being liberated from whatever imprisons your soul. The fear of rejection, the fear of failure, the fear of not being enough, the fear of losing control, the fear of being unseen. When you surrender all these fears to me, you will step into a freedom that no chain in this world can restrain. A surrendered life is also a life of harmony. You move in harmony with my will, my timing, my rhythm. You do not run ahead, nor do you lag behind. You walk with me, sometimes in silence, sometimes in radiance. sometimes in waiting, sometimes in powerful action. But wherever you are on the journey, your soul is at ease because you know the one leading you never takes a wrong turn. A surrendered soul is also a mature soul. It no longer reacts from fleeting emotion, but from heavenly wisdom. It is no longer shaken by praise or criticism, but stands firm in the identity I have established. It is no longer drained by unreasonable demands, but knows how to discern what belongs to it and what does not. It no longer avoids challenges, but sees in them profound opportunities to grow in love. When you live surrendered, your entire life becomes a prayer, not only when you bow your head, but in everything you do. You work as an offering. You love as an offering. You remain silent as an offering. You wait as an offering. You walk as an offering. And in this harmony, your soul will feel my nearness so deeply that you will no longer separate the sacred from the ordinary, for to you, all things will have become sacred. Step into the surrendered life with me, my child, for it is the doorway into the deepest richness, the greatest peace, and the truest freedom your soul has long yearned for. My beloved child, I want to lead you into the full communion between your will and mine. This is not a merging that erases your personality, but a union that reveals who you truly are, like a musical instrument tuned correctly so that it resonates with the sound it was created to produce. My child, when your will no longer resists mine, when you no longer fear what I desire to do, when you allow me to arrange the flow of your life, then your soul will enter the rhythm of heaven, where every step aligns with love, every word carries wisdom, and every choice is guided by light that surpasses human understanding. My will is not a heavy command as the world imagines. My will does not come as shackles, does not place new burdens upon your shoulders, does not demand meaningless sacrifices. My will is the pathway of love, of wisdom, of blessing stretched across seasons. My will does not harm you. It brings you into the space where your soul expands and becomes free. My will does not crush your deepest desires. It unveils the true desires I placed within you before you could speak, before you could dream, before you could even name your longing. Many fear my will because they do not know who I am. They think I will take away what they love or lead them to places they dread. But my child, remember, I am the one who formed your heart. I know your fragility, your strength, your longings, and even the dreams you have never dared to speak aloud. How could I lead you into something that would make you wither? How could I form you with joy and then guide you onto a path that steals that joy? No. My child, my will is the path that opens your soul like a flower under sunlight. My will is the harmony between who I know you can become and what I have destined you to step into. Communion between your will and mine does not mean you will understand everything I do. No, my child. Communion does not require understanding. It requires trust. Just as a child does not need to understand everything a parent does, yet still trusts the parent's love. A child may not know why a parent pulls them away from something they like, only to realize later they were being led somewhere better. My child, when you learn to trust my will, you will see that I have never led you into darkness without providing light. You will see that I never close a door without opening another wider, deeper, richer with life. Communion with me does not mean abandoning your dreams, but allowing me to purify them. Some dreams you hold are not wrong, merely unripe. Some dreams are not wrong, but misplaced. Some dreams are not wrong, but I want to expand them into something bigger than you imagined. When you commune with me, You surrender your dreams, not so they disappear, but so they may become what I originally intended, unstained by fear, unhindered by past wounds, unshackled from the narrow expectations of people. A soul in communion with my will is a soul filled with peace. You no longer struggle against the current of life, no longer try to control everything, no longer tense up at what you do not understand. When you say, "Let your will be done," you step into a deep resting place, not because life becomes easy, but because you know that nothing touches you outside of my love. You know that I am weaving every thread, both dark and bright, into a tapestry of glory. You know that I am guiding you, even when you feel as though you are standing in a fog. When your will and mine move in harmony, you will no longer ask anxiously, "Is this God's voice?" For by then, your heart will have learned my tone. You will recognize me in the sudden peace that appears amid confusion. You will recognize me in the heaviness that warns you away from a wrong decision. You will recognize me in the gentle joy of doing what is right. You will recognize me not only through spoken guidance, but even through silence, for my silence carries meaning when you know I am leading you one step at a time. Communion with me does not weaken your will, it strengthens and frees it. People believe freedom is doing whatever they want. But my child, that is chaos. True freedom is when your will is connected to the source of life, the source of light, the source of wisdom. In that place, you are no longer driven by fear, fleeting emotion, impure desire, or outside pressure. Your will becomes strong because it is empowered by me, no longer in conflict with truth. When you commune with my will, you will live at a pace that is never rushed. You will do what you must do in the time I appoint. You will not chase noise, not hurry under pressure, and not be pulled into comparison with others. You will know that every life has its own rhythm, and your rhythm comes from me. My rhythm is not too fast so that you collapse, nor too slow so that you miss your season. My rhythm is perfect, because it is designed for your very heartbeat. You begin to see the world through my eyes. You no longer see others through the lens of their wounds, but through the potential I have placed within them. You no longer react with judgment, but with compassion. You are no longer easily provoked by the failures of others, because you know that I am just as patient with you. You no longer label anyone as hard to love, because you understand that every soul carries my image, even when it is covered by layers of pain and dust. When you see with my eyes, love with my heart, and think with the wisdom I give, then you do not merely resemble me, you reflect me. Those who come near you will sense something gentler, deeper, warmer, not because you are special in yourself, but because I am shining through you. And I want you to engrave this in your heart as a sacred affirmation when your will is aligned with mine. Nothing can stop what I desire to do in your life. No person, no door, no circumstance, no power can block what I have ordained. When your soul is in communion with me, it becomes untouchable by any darkness, my beloved child. In this moment, I want to lead you into the end point that is also the beginning of a mature spiritual life, complete union. This is the state in which your soul and my presence are no longer fragmented, no longer separated, no longer moving in two different rhythms, but flowing together as one. This is not so that you lose your identity, but so that your true identity, the one I designed at the beginning of creation, may awaken and live in fullness and eternal light. My child, union is not an emotional high, nor a passing experience. Union is a life, a way of being, a continuous rhythm where every thought, every breath, every action is woven into the stream of grace that constantly flows from me. When you live in union, you no longer see me as one who is far away, but as the one who dwells in every chamber of your chest, every quiet space in your mind, every subtle movement of your soul. I am not only beside you, I am within you, and you are in me. You will no longer need to strain to feel my presence, for I will become the very atmosphere you breathe, the light you see in every corner of your life. You will no longer try to separate what is sacred from what is ordinary, because you will realize there is no moment of your life absent of this holy presence. Every step you take will become prayer. Every word you speak will carry the resonance of life. Every interaction will become an opportunity for me to flow through you. Union also means you will no longer be ruled by fear. When you know that I am in you, fear loses its power. When you know I am your source of life, you no longer tremble at loss or lack. When you know I am the very breath of your soul, you no longer fear the night or the uncertain silence. My child, union dissolves the invisible chains that have followed you for so many years, the chains of fear, obsession, self-doubt, shame, and the feeling of never being enough. A soul in union is a free soul, because its freedom does not come from control, but from complete surrender. My love will become the natural heartbeat within you. You will love not because you force yourself to love, but because my love flowing in you compels you to love. You will forgive not because you are obligated to, but because my mercy is softening your heart. You will be patient not because you are trying to be patient, but because my peace has become the foundation of your reactions. You will discover within yourself qualities you once thought were beyond your capacity, but in truth it is I living in you. Union is also the moment you recognize that your life does not belong only to this present moment or to experiences on this earth. You begin to realize that you are living in the rhythm of eternity. You sense that what you do today is not only meaningful for this instant, but echoes into the age to come. You start to see the connection between small things and the great plan I am weaving. You see my fingerprints in the moments you thought you were lost. You see my love in the times you thought you were forgotten. You see my wisdom in the times you thought everything had fallen apart. My child, union opens the eyes of your soul to see that nothing in your life is random when you are in me. When you step into union, you will know what true rest is. Not merely rest for the body, but rest for the soul where there is no more resistance, no more fear, no more anxiety, no more frantic self-reliance. A soul in union does not need to brace itself against the future, because it knows I am already there. It does not need to cling to the past, because I have redeemed that past. It does not need to struggle in the present, because I hold every moment. My child, this rest is not passivity, it is the most powerful state a soul can enter, because it is the place of dwelling in my power. I am the Creator, and when I am in you, you will begin to create new ideas, new songs, new solutions, new paths, new mercies. You will innovate in the realm I have assigned to you. You will bring back to life what others have abandoned. You will see what others have not seen, hear what others have not heard, and open doors that others have not opened. Not because you are greater, but because you are abiding in a source of light that never runs dry. In union, you will also recognize your calling not as a heavy burden, but as a natural outflow. You will no longer ask, Lord, what must I do? But instead, Lord, How may I walk with you today? Every calling is born from presence, not obligation. When you are in me, you will know where you are sent, whom you are to meet, what you are to say, what you are to do, and you will do these things with a lightness beyond understanding. You will become a bearer of peace, a bearer of light, a bearer of hope, a bearer of healing. No striving, no show, only why presence shining through you. Union turns your life into a song, not the loud song of ambition, but the deep song of a soul that has found its rhythm in mine. When you live this way, those who step into your atmosphere will feel warmth. Those who hear you speak will sense the truth. Those who look at you will see in you something both familiar and beyond you because they will see me. The journey you have just walked is not an ending, but a door opening into a new season, a season of maturity, of elevation, of even deeper union. Step into this new season with holy confidence, with a tender heart, with an open soul, and with a fully surrendered spirit, and I speak to you live. Love, walk in my light. Become all that I have destined you to be, a living sign of eternal love. Amen. Thank you for listening to today's message. Please click subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that together we can receive the living word. Build a steadfast faith and walk in the boundless love of God. Amen.